These are also from Hahnemühle, still not sponsored, but hey, if you want to. I had to look it up. If you are working in Lightroom, hit S. It's not that difficult. And the paper group, in my case, is... I love to do it. I love to hold my photos in my hand and see them printed out. I recently got a lot of questions about my printing workflow, how to properly proof and export your photo, and what settings to use. Well, today I'll explain everything in detail. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk It Over. So, first things first, and this is a really important part of the whole workflow, and that is a calibrated monitor. So in my case it's the ISO CG2700S Color Edge. I had to look it up because I bought this monitor, I think a previous model, many years ago, and it's still working so good, so no problems with that at all. This is a monitor that can calibrate itself. It's not a 4K monitor but a WQHD, which is perfectly fine for what I do. I have never had the problem with it not being 4K, and I also don't think I need to upgrade to it. Maybe if this monitor breaks down or I need a second monitor, I might think about a 4K monitor, but I really don't need it. It's a 1440p, so it's not a full HD, it's not 1080, it's a little denser resolution than that, but yeah, it's not 4K and I don't think it's really necessary for me. Or at least I never missed it, let's say it like that. This monitor has a built-in sensor which can self-calibrate, which is so good. I never have to bother with calibrating this monitor at all because I had set it to a timer, and that way it will be always perfect without me having to do anything about it. By the way, normally when I do video editing or edit my photos, scan my photos, print my photos, whatever, this room that I'm in right now is completely dark. But for this video, I thought it would be nicer to have a little bit light in here. And of course you need to see me, so that's why it's a little bit brighter right now. But normally this is in complete darkness. The only thing that's bright is my screen. Another part of this is that I can have different presets, calibration presets on this monitor, just like here. I also use the Adobe RGB for all photo work and the BT709 for all video work, but nevertheless, very important that you can calibrate your screen. For photo, it's very important to have it to Adobe RGB, and definitely for printing. There are lots of monitors that are perfectly fine, that you can calibrate with external calibration devices, which aren't that expensive lately. Back in the day, those things were pretty expensive, but nowadays you can get them for relatively cheap. But one thing I can say for sure, a calibrated monitor is one of the most important things about printing your work, because when we are editing, and you'll see later in the video, when you're editing your work and you're print proofing your work, you definitely want the closest thing on the print as how you would see it on the screen. And with that out of the way, let's get into Lightroom, because I thought this would be a nice picture. I haven't printed it yet, so I want to put this in my archive. And I think this is a perfect example because there's lots of colors, there's great contrast in it, and I think this is the perfect photo to proof and to print. And I already did the whole conversion about this image in Lightroom, so you won't see that in this video. I've got a separate video for that. This will just be about proofing the print, which means that you make it ready for printing, but you will see that later. Yeah, so let's get into it. The first thing I'll always do is get rid of every dust in this image. When scanning these negatives and getting them ready for socials or for the YouTube videos, I always check it at 50%. But for printing, I definitely want to do 100%. So that's when I will scan the whole image again for any little dust specks that I want to remove. And normally there aren't much left because I do a pretty good job in the first case. But yeah, I like to do this for printing and make sure if I want to print this another time, or maybe want to put this in the print shop, then I have a perfect print file ready. By the way, if you guys are interested in a print, I've updated the print shop with new work from New York City. Big thanks to everybody who already ordered the print. Your support is so appreciated. I'll leave a link down in the description. And normally most of the dust will be visible in the sky and not so much in other parts of the photo. And it's also possible that I forget some hairs or didn't see them, and you definitely don't want to see them when you have already printed your photo. So make sure that you check this before hitting print, but I think it's fine. I'm using the AI tool for this, by the way, because I think it does a really great job and it makes my life a little easier when getting rid of this dust and hairs. So let's double check that again. Nothing weird happening. Sometimes the AI function glitches out, and you will definitely see that, but it seems like it did a pretty good job here. So with the boring stuff out of the way, because talking about a monitor and removing dust to your image isn't that exciting, now we are going to really proof our image. And that sounds a little technical maybe, but it's not that difficult. Proofing your image when having a really good calibrated monitor and a good printer does the job for 99% already. Okay, 90. Let's say 90% already. If you are working in Lightroom, hit S for the soft proofing. And maybe you didn't notice it, but some things changed. But first, let's see what we got here on the top right corner. And that is the profile. Here I got my profile loaded for my printer, which is the Canon Pro 1100. And it also has a profile for the photo paper that I use, which is Hahnemühle fine art paper, the Photoreg Barida. And you can load these print profiles or paper profiles from, I think, every manufacturer of paper. And I'll show you where I got mine. I love to use Hahnemühle paper. So you go to the website of Hahnemühle in this case and go to the download center. And here you can see printer manufacturer, of course Canon. The printer is the Pro 1100. And the paper group in my case is matte fine art smooth or glossy fine art. And for the Barida paper, I think it's glossy fine art. Yes, so you can see fine art Barida, Photoreg Barida, and this one is the one I need because this is the paper that I use in my printer. So you download that ICC file and then you install it on your computer. So you unzip the file, then you see this ICC file and you need to copy it. And on a Mac, it's a little bit different than on a Windows, but you need to go to a different folder on your Mac, and I'll show you that right now, but there you need to paste it. So if you copy that file, go to Library, go to the folder called TIPSinc, Profiles, and paste it in here. I already got it in here, but you need to paste it in here, and you might need to restart your Lightroom to show it up. If it doesn't show up, you go to, in Dutch it's overige, but this one on the bottom. And there you can probably select your profile. As you can see, there are also a lot of Canon profiles here. I think they came with the printer, I don't know for sure. But you can select those if you want to. And also deselect those. If you never use that paper, definitely deselect that one. So yeah, that's how you get your printer profile for the right paper into Lightroom. And this is really important because this will make sure that you know exactly, or that Lightroom knows exactly, how the colors will turn out on that paper with the specific printer. And you might not have noticed it, but some things changed in this image when I pressed S. And as you can see, when I toggle between those, and not only the white border changes, but the colors change quite a bit. You might not see it right away, but if you look at the text rubies, you see that red colors switch up a little bit. And that is, in my experience with printing a lot, red tones are the most difficult to print, definitely when there's a lot of saturation or it just has a type of hue that is really hard to print. So as you can see, I still have the Photorec Baryta paper profile loaded into Lightroom. And if we zoom in to 100% and then switch between proofing, and this is the original, this is the proof, original, proof. As you can see, the red tones change a lot. But let's take a look at this green and this yellowish tones. Those don't change at all. So this is the proof, this is the normal one. So definitely in this image, only the red ones change. And in my experience, that is pretty normal. Even the blue tones stay the same. So let's hit S again. And you can also see here paper and ink simulation. When you toggle that, you'll see that a lot of things happen with the contrast. And in my experience, don't put this on because Lightroom doesn't really do a great job with simulating paper and ink. I think this version looks way more than how it would be when it's printed, and this one is over exaggerated, so don't use that. And I've done a lot of research about it, but I still don't know how all of these things work. But I do know that in 99% of the time, the color intent relative works better than perceptual. The only time when something is happening weird in my print and I see it when printing, then I might change it to perceptual. It's a pretty technical story and I don't want to get into it because yeah, it's too difficult. I just know that relative works 99% of the time, and if I print something and it's not working as I wanted it to be, then I change it to perceptual to see if it's any better or not. But it has to do with a range of colors and how Lightroom or the printer software corrects those colors to make them fit inside of that profile or in that side of that range. It doesn't really matter because in my case, relative works 99% of the time. But I can show you what happens. So in relative, this is the original and this is the proof. As you can see, the red tones switch up quite a bit. And if I go to perceptual, you see that the red tones switch quite a bit again. So there's a color difference between perceptual and relative. It means that the software is trying to get those red colors inside of a color range. And I do think that relative looks more like the original than the perceptual one. So that's why I say relative is in almost every case better than perceptual, but there are circumstances where it's not. But I already think that I explained too much about it. If you really want to know, ask ChatGPT. And then we are going to see if we want to change anything. Do we want to change these red colors to more of the original? Or do we think, okay, these red colors look fine, I don't want to change anything? In my case, I don't, but you can make a proof from this. But if you really want to make sure that these colors are matching more with the original file, in my case, it's almost the same, but sure, you can do it. Then you need to go to, for instance, the color mixer and pick these red colors. I'm over exaggerating this because otherwise you probably won't see it that good on YouTube. But as you can see, I changed the red colors and now it wants to make a virtual copy for the electronical proof. So yes, make a proof. And as you can see in the bottom here, it makes a proof just for this printer profile and paper. And this is the original, this is the proof. Of course, these colors don't match at all. So let's bring back this a little bit and go back to the original and this one. So as you can see, maybe it looks a little bit better. So if you want to change colors and you just want to do it for your proofing, for your printing, you can do it like that. You can also change contrast, sharpness, everything you can do in a proof to make it more like how you would like to see it. But in my case and in this picture, I think there's not really much I would do to change it. But just know that you can make a proof in Lightroom, which is a new file, and there you can change the colors to match more to your original file or to bump up or lower the contrast. So after proofing your print, you are going to export it. And I've got a folder over here that I named proof, and you're going to export it as a TIFF file with no compression. The color space needs to be Adobe RGB and 16-bit bit depth. Make sure that you don't resize it or do anything really to it. Just export it as a TIFF file like this. Okay, first things first. We open up PPL, Professional Print and Layout from Canon. This is the original software for the printer, and I always think this software is better to print from than directly from Lightroom. That's why we exported the TIFF file. But before we put the TIFF file into this software, we are going to check everything and make sure that everything is all right. As you can see, we got the printer, which is the Pro 1100, which is a wired printer. You can also do it wireless, but you need to make sure that your printer is here. You can add the printer or delete it. Pretty easy, but just make sure that your printer is visible up here. Then we go to layout mode, which is a single image, and the first important thing is to have the right media type, which is the paper that you are using to print. As you can see, I already got 3 custom media types, which is Hahnemühle Photorag, the matte Baryta, and the Photorag Baryta. Very important and maybe a little difficult. Just like the ICC profiles, you need to import this into the software. So we are going to, again, the website of the manufacturer, which is Hahnemühle in my case. And we select the Canon, the Pro 1100, and let's do something different. Glossy fine art, and use the Baryta satin. But this time we're not going to use the ICC profile, but we are going to use the AM1X profile. So download that one and make sure that you unzip it. As you can see, we got a AM1X file. So now in this case, we are going to do something different. We need to open up the media configuration tool, which is probably also in the same file or folder as your professional print and layout software. But if not, make sure to download it on Canon's website. So open up media configuration tool. So now it loaded the printer and the software, and you can add or save media information. We're going to add update media information on this button, and we are going to import our file that we just downloaded, which is the AM1X file. Open it up, select it, next, the base printer, sure, start, yes. And now it's updating the media information on the operation panel, which is also on the printer itself, so not only on the software. Click OK, and as you can see, it's loaded up right here. Let's go back to professional print and layout, and as you can see, it's still not here. So these are the 3 that are already installed. So now you're going to File, Other Settings, Add and Update Media Information. Updated media information is available for your printer. Do you want to update your media information now? Yes. And as you can see, now we do have the media type, which is the Hahnemühle photo paper, the Baryta satin. But of course, that's not the paper that we are going to use right now, but now you know how to properly set and download your media type for this printer. It's not the most streamlined thing, but now you can load your media type on your printer, on your software. Just follow these steps and you'll probably be fine. But for now, we are going to use Photo Rec Baryta, because that's the paper type that I need. So now we are going to paper size, which is A3 for me, and we don't want to use borderless printing because I want to have a white border around the frame. This is easier to handle the photo, but also if you want to frame it and use a matte, then you can use that white border for it. The paper source will be the manual feed tray because it's a heavier, thicker paper, so it needs to be in the manual feed tray of the printer, which is on the back. Print quality set to highest, clear coding set to auto, alignment center, of course, and I always click this one. But first let's open up the file that we made and just drag it into it. Here we are. Set this one again to 1 slot. This automatically makes sure that it's really centered and every margins are perfectly centered. So that's why I always click 1 slot. I leave these things alone. You can always adjust things how you want it, but I like to have my photo centered. Maintain slot aspect ratios checked, and these are unchecked. Now another very important thing, make sure that color mode is use ICC profile. Printer profile, you need to use the paper profile that you imported also into Lightroom. So use the Canon Pro 1100 Photo Rec Baryta and relative colorimetric, just like in Lightroom. I also check this one always, use black point compensation. I think when you check this, it will give a better result, but definitely experiment with that. Then these things I leave unchecked because I don't want to have any text on it. So the next thing that I want to explain is that you don't want to use soft proofing here again. We already soft proofed it in Lightroom, so you don't want to do it again in this software. And I also think that if you check it, it over exaggerates the proofing a little bit in this software, just like in Lightroom where we checked the paper and ink simulation. It does it right here too, and I don't think it's necessary to do it. Also, print proofing something in a different software first and after that doing it in another software is not the right way to go. And another thing is that when you want to make adjustment to your proof, I think Lightroom does a way better job in that because you have all possibilities right there. But if you do want to change around stuff, you can do that in color settings right here. But I leave that alone. So soft proofing checked off. The only thing that we need to do is hit print. And very important is to check this. Is the paper size the right one? Is the media type the right one? Color mode is on ICC profile. Printer profile is the right one. And relative colorimetric. This is perfectly fine. So let's hit OK, and then it will send the file to the printer, which we are going to right now. So we send out the proofed file from Canon PPL to the printer with every setting correctly, and now it says printing will start from the manual feed tray, which is the back one. Load a sheet of paper in the manual feed tray. So we got to do that. And of course we already decided on which paper we needed to use, and that is the Baryta paper. And my paper comes in a package like this, which is pretty usual for paper. Doesn't really matter which brand you use. I'm not sponsored by Hahnemühle or Canon, so don't worry about that. I just like these papers and I definitely like this printer. But yeah, you can use so many varieties of paper, which all look good. Let's get a sheet of paper out of this. I always like to use gloves because I don't want any oils from my hands or whatever from my hands on my paper. So that's why I use these gloves. These are also from Hahnemühle, still not sponsored, but hey, if you want to. So what I know about Hahnemühle paper is that they always have the printed side of the paper on top. So that's how to make sure that you print the right side of the paper. But with glossy paper, it's easy to see. You see the glossy side of the paper, that's where you need to print it on. But on matte papers, it's a little bit difficult to see. So let's get one sheet of paper out of this packaging, like this, and put it in the printer. Normally I do this somewhere else, but it wouldn't be visible on the camera. Let's close that up, put it away, and it still says printing will start from the manual feed tray. But now it also says start print or cancel print. But let's start the print. So the printer will start up. It hasn't been used for 1 or 2 days, so it needs to do its stuff to get the inks ready, and then it will print the file. So this is looking great. I think the colors came exactly as how I saw it on screen, so that's perfect. No issues at all. Looking beautifully. And what I like to do is I try to print a print every single day, but sometimes it takes 1 or 2 days. But what I like to do is put it on display for myself, so I can watch it for hours and maybe a couple of days. And every time I walk past it, I just take a look at the print, and eventually they will go into my archive. But that way I'm enjoying the print for longer, and I just love to see it just on my table here with my light for a day or a couple of days before I print a new print and put it on display and put the other one in the archive. So what I've got are these archival boxes. These are also from They are amazing and not that expensive at all. So these archival boxes hold my whole archive, or my printed archive, so to say. So I print all the images that I think are print-worthy, but also archive-worthy. I print them out and put them in the archive. I just love to do that. And this one is going in there too. And what I also like about that is when people are coming over or people want to see the space I've got here, I can show them my archive, pull some prints out, let them hold them in their hands. It's so different from seeing them on screen. So that's a thing I like. But personally, it's mostly because I love to do it. I love to hold my photos in my hand and see them printed out. So that is how I get these amazing prints. The colors, the contrast, everything looks exactly the same as how I see it on my calibrated monitor. And that is something that I really care about. Please let me know if you have any questions left about printing. I'll be happy to answer them in the comments down below. For now, thanks for watching and I'll see you next week. Peace.